And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's satsang with a Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Swamiji will be singing Shiv Panchakshar Stotra tonight.
Okay, we will be hearing the song of Shiv Panchakshar Stotra by Sri Rajneesh.
Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya. Mandakini Salil Chandan Charchitaya Nandeshwar Pramatanath Maheshwaraya Mandar Pushpa Bahu Pushpa Supujitaya Tasmai Makaraya Namah Shivaya Tasmai Makaraya Namah Shivaya. Shevaya Gauri Vadanabja Vrunda Suryaya Dakshaya Dvaranashikaya Shri Nilakantaya Vrishabhadvajaya Tasmai Shikaraya Namah Shivaya Tasmai Shikaraya Namah Shivaya. Vasishtha Kumbhodh Bhavagatamaya Munindra Devarya Chitashekaraya Chandrarka Vaishwanarlochanaya Tasmai Vakaraya Namah Shivaya Tasmai Vakaraya Namah Shivaya. Yaksha Swarupaya Jatadharaya Pinakahastaya Sanatanaya Divyaya Devaya Digambaraya Tasmai Yakaraya Namah Shivaya Tasmai Yakaraya Namah Shivaya. Panchaksharamidam punyam Yah pathet Shiva sannidho Shivalokam avatnoti Shivena saha mudate. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is October the 6th, 2020, Tuesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Yoga Vasistha. This is series 2018, class number 279. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Nirvana Prakarana Purvardha, section 25. Sage Kagabhushunda shares his experience with Sage Vasistha. As I have already explained to you, all these are called spiritual art of presenting the teachings to aspirants, because sages didn't need any instruction between themselves. And crow sage again is allegorical, not a real crow. At this stage, Kakabhushundi tells Vasistha that he practiced pranayama, prana chintan in a special way. And now you will be hearing what it implies. This natural pranayama, the movement of the apana from the space 12 fingers away from the nostrils into the nostrils. These details should not confuse you. See, when we start practicing pranayama, what happens? You are drawing air into your nostril. But according to your system, you can draw only 12 fingers away air. It doesn't go beyond 20. And then into the heart. So first the air has gone into your nostril, then outside movement of Purak. And then it has started an internal movement of Purak. And what happens when it has internal movement? It goes from nostrils into the heart. And it flows through the nostrils, and then from the heart it emanates again. You begin to breathe out. And when you breathe out, it moves 12 fingers away from your nostrils. Before you draw the air, there is external retention, Vahyapurak. When you are retaining internally, it's called internal retention. 3 aspects of pranayama. Purak, filling in with prana, called Purak. You are drawing breath. Breath itself is not prana, but when you perform the function, what underlies the movement of your breaths is a vital currents within your personality. So breath relates to prana. In itself it is not prana. So Purak, you breathe in, then you hold, that's Rechak, and When you fold, it is called kumbhak. And when you breathe out, it's called rechak. Purak, kumbhak, rechak. Now the details are being given now. First stage called Vahyapurak, external inhalation. The apana is set into motion, and consequently the subtle vital air that abides 12 fingers below the nostrils is drawn in an effortless manner into the nostrils. The first stage of pranayama, outside of you, how the air is being drawn. It's like nose is your magnet. Antarpurak, second point, internal inhalation. That again has another aspect. First aspect, the apana current moves from the nostrils up to the crown of the head. When you are breathing in, it goes towards the head. And the second stage, the apana current from the crown of the head goes into the region of your heart. Think of an umbrella with a curl, that type of. So prana goes first to the heart, through the head, and then curls up, comes into your heart. This box like that. Antar kumbhak, when prana has gone into the heart, you have breathed in, then you retain, that's called kumbhak. Kumbha is a pot and we are filling it. Apana then subsides and prana has not yet become manifest. There is a change of pranic currents while you are retaining it. Because first it was breathing, now you will be exhaling. So the prana is two different modes. Next stage, antar-rechak. Now exhalation starts. But exhalation has internal process. First stage, prana manifests, and the subtle vital current flows from the heart and moves up to the crown of the head. Same way as you went from the low umbrella shape down, now you come out exactly the same way. Second stage, the vital air flows from the crown of the head to the tip of the nose. So from head, this is an umbrella like that. Then the breath flows out of the nostrils. And before you draw, there is a little interrupt in retention. That's called Vahyapurak. O sage, whoever practices these 8 types of pranayama, these are 8 modes, at all times becomes liberated from the fetters of karmas. So when you describe it, describe so many steps, but it is happening automatically. In practice of pranayama, you highlight these points and practice it by effort. But most advanced stage, if you have purified your nadis and you are living a yogic life in a nice way, then there is a spontaneous practice of pranayama. Your breath follows all these rules. When you are breathing in, how the air comes in, how you are assimilating the prana as the air goes in with the umbrella type of movement, how your heart gets touched, and then how again exhalation starts. All goes on. When I'm describing, it takes time and it takes steps. But when you are breathing, it is all continuous. And by this practice, you are bringing about attunement of your pranas, your vital forces that flow in your body, and the cosmic vital force that sustains the entire universe. Your prana is opening the door to cosmic prana. And cosmic prana implies your entire thought process will undergo a tremendous change. If pranas are flowing in a nice way, your thinking process will not be under the control of lower self. Your thinking process will be under higher self. Thinking process will be like rays of light. So, you end up with Brahmagyan. And that was the practice of, that's how Kakabhushundi attained enlightenment. That was his type of sadhana, where he gave more emphasis to this practice of pranayama that I have explained to you. This form of meditation on the spontaneous pranayama that is ever going on in an uninterrupted succession enables a yogi to attain absolute mastery over the pranas. When the pranas become free of the sense of egoism, a yogi, though performing actions in daily life, is not tinged with the sense of doership. He does not develop the wrong notion, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. Therefore, he is led to the state of liberation in a short time. What you are being pointed out to, that prana is pranayama practice. This rends asunder three granthis, karma granthi, kama granthi, and avidya granthi. karma, kama, and avidya. Karma, we are bounded with karma. The center for karma granthi is your navel center. You are bounded with your subtle desires, kama, and that center is your anahat chakra, at your heart center. Then you are coming to the third stage, the knot of ignorance, avidya granthi, and that center is between your eyebrows, ajna chakra. And all these are very important. Soon you will have the mother worship. And these centers are presided by Shakti. Karma Granthi presided by Kriya Shakti, Durga Devi. Kama Granthi is presided by Lakshmi Devi, Ichha Shakti. And Ajna Chakra is presided by Saraswati Devi. That's Jnana Shakti. Therefore, this form of pranayama enables a yogi to renounce the outgoing flow of mind and to practice the internalized flow of mind. Outside flow of mind and inside flow of mind. These are very profound statements. And I will give you a simple illustration. When you are watching a cinema show, all the show you watch is backed up by projections on the screen. Forms are being projected with such a speed that your eyes don't detect that they are not continuous. They are all lies, bonded together in a nice way. But lies before your eyes are lies. The entire show. Because all the time you are seeing the screen, but the screen gets transcended, and you are involved only with the story presented by the projections. But as long as you are looking for your settlement of life in the world of projections, that's called bhava-vyadhi, disease of the world process. You are not enlightened. And you are in a state of bondage, depending upon the world process. Bhava-vyadhi grast. You are sick with the disease of the world process. Cure of this: move away from the projections and attain the revelation of the substratum behind the projections, the screen. And that's the subtle point subtle spiritual key for attaining enlightenment. First state is called bhava pratyaya. Pratyayas are projections of your mind. So when projections exist, it is existence of projections, bhava pratyaya. The second one, pratyaya bhava, negation of projections. First is a existence of projections, next is negation of projections. For still easier understanding, think of your dream. In your dream, nothing is real. So, as long as you are looking for happiness in your dream, it is vahiranga, external. Wake up, it is internal. Figurative language. As long as you are looking for worldly reality, which is again deluded reality, mirage type, it is called vahiranga, external. When you begin to look for a screen, the reality that sustains all and transcends all, then that movement is called antaranga movement. A performer of pranayama begins to enjoy the bliss of the internalized flow of mind. The internalized flow of mind becomes possible when you are practicing concentration, meditation, samadhi, and it goes into climax when you have developed brahmakara vritti, intuitive vision, all is Brahman. That's antarmukhi process, internalized process. So if you are succeeding in your internal progress, therefore, is no longer enchanted by the external objects and their charms. That's Shreya and Preya. Once your mind has become aware of the mystic potentiality that you are Brahman, and that movement, any step towards it, all the attractions of the world begin to diminish. There are two types of pull. The pull of Shreya, higher self pulling you to realize who am I. The another pull, lower self pulling you. Get into the world of eat, drink, be merry, and just forget about all that. La palabras. And this latter, the prayas, becomes so overpowering to human mind that any spiritual teachings about the self, about vairagya, viveka, all that seems nonsense to it, to a mind that is dull. But with spiritual progress, the table turns. He is no longer enchanted by the external objects and their charms. But as a Brahmin does not covet a sweet pudding which is placed in a vessel made of dog's skin, in the same manner, a yogi is not enchanted by the objects of the world. The world cannot tempt you. You may fight with the world, you may struggle, you may do all things, but your heart will not be settled in the world. And that is not something pathetic that you view, but rather understand this is the healthy state of your spiritual life. If you don't have that, then you have no life. Rajneesh. Okay, give me intermission. Sage Vasistha continues, rather Sage Kakabhusunda continues. Section 26. The deathless state attained by Kakabhusunda is same like a Sthita Prajna state, Sthita Prajna Lakshanas, characteristics of the enlightened sage. Sage Vasistha said, O sage, thus by the practice of meditation on prana, I have attained supreme peace of mind arising out of self-realization. Now this should not give confusion to people, that in order to attain Brahman, you should just realize Brahman. Use the mind. Why go after the prana? No, but remember in Om Upasana, A presents the project of attuning your physical body with the universal physical body. Vishwa with Virat. You are a wave, the whole physical universe is like the ocean, and you are related to all. Next stage, your subtle body. Identified with subtle body, you are known as Tejas. And Tejas is a wave in the ocean of Hiranyagarbha. But this Tejas aspect has two components, mind and prana. So if you were to envision or create affirmation, I am prana. Without prana, nothing will happen. Your entire body all reduces into prana. If you are a prana, individualize the prana, then it relates to the cosmic prana, the same pranic energy that is maintaining the entire universe is maintaining your personality. And your prana, therefore, is not limited to you. It is just like a wave is not limited to not limited to itself. It communes with the ocean. So your prana allows you to be attuned to cosmic prana. This opens the door to mind. Your mind allows you, mind is behind the prana. Prana's operations are possible because of the mind. Otherwise, energy doesn't know where to go. You have to have something behind the energy. So that mind aspect is Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha includes in this context the cosmic prana. Cosmic prana, cosmic mind, all are together. And cosmic intellect. Ever absorbed in meditation on prana, I would not be agitated even if the Sumeru mountains were to be uprooted. Especially when you are sitting in the valley of Sumeru mountain, and the mountain is getting uprooted. Even in that predicament, you are identified with prana, your cosmic prana. And prana being Hiranyagarbha, Hiranyagarbha being Brahman. You are Brahman. So you remain unperturbed. But that doesn't mean that your body will not be shattered. But I'm just giving you like witty words. When you have attained enlightenment, for yourself you are not the body. For people around you, you are a body. So, people around you will see your body shattered if there is storm and calamity. But for you, nothing has happened. Because we're not identified with the body. Another simpler illustration. In your dream, you may experience a great calamity, great hurricane or earthquake, and see many wonderful buildings being just devoured. And you wake up, you remain completely untouched. Yes, mentally shaken, but you are untouched. And this point I have already explained through that bhava pratyaya and pratyaya bhava. all things that you experience, pleasure, pain, great dreams of life and great frustrations, they are all vrittis of the mind, creating a show on the screen of Brahman. That Brahman you are. The real I am in you is nowhere in these projections. The real sun is nowhere in the reflected suns. There are countless reflected suns. Every reflected sun is jumping up and down, restless. But behind all the restlessness of the jivas are like reflected Brahman. Brahman is the reality. And that's the central purpose of life. To realize I am Brahman. I am, that am I. Nothing else exists. Sun alone is, not these reflections. Now come back to practical lessons. As you begin to gain that insight into your goal, and your mind begin to understand tiny bit of what sthita prajna state it is, what realization is, then you begin to develop amazing capacity of endurance, patience, persistence, not losing your mind over because certain things have happened, but clarity of your mind continues in spite of challenging situations. You adopt the philosophy, wait and watch, even this will pass away. You act with faith, strength of faith. In spite of all things that happen, seem to be impossible to change the world. I'm just talking about the world situation, how things were just 6 months back. So many problems we were facing. But now there is only one problem. The divine plan, things work in that way. So that divine, you begin to relate yourself to that divine. And that's the Shraddha-based strength. And that cannot be measured in a normal way. So that type of strength begins to develop progressively. So spiritual progress is not measured by you're constantly being happy and prosperous and in harmony. It shines more when you are facing challenging situations and still remain untouched, untarnished. Saints are not praised because they have faced prosperity. You read the whole book of a saintly biography, find no tragedy, frustrating. But life becomes more highlighted when you see how this saintly personality has faced challenges after challenges. The challenges are beyond ordinary type. Another point you have to understand, there are even aspirants who have written to me, if I have to become a saint and Should I have to face through all those tragedies? The point is, you don't have to be a saint. You are already facing those challenges. Only nobody cares to describe your tragedies, because it's immense. Everyone is facing tragedy after tragedy. But if you follow a saintly life, now the people become alert. How did he or she, how did the person face a situation? Then whatever the person faced is highlighted through the writings and all the history details. What I'm implying, every soul suffers from tragic situations beyond imagination. Everyone. But we highlight in these saintly personalities, highlight them just to show that saintly personalities is side by side. All these things are happening, but at the same time, nothing is happening. The sun is looking on. Before the eyes of the sun, all those countless reflected suns are shaking and being shattered. But the sun is just sitting quiet upon the sky. So, that is the ideal, but after I am trying to explain to you that you progressively move towards that state of being unshaken, absolutely unshaken. Even while in the beginning you may be shaking a little, but there again shaking aspect has two stages. One stage, if you are very weak, a wind, think of a tree, weak tree, little wind comes and it breaks down from its very root. Same breeze, the same wind begins to help the tree in its strength and having a strong roots. And how it is helped? When it is shaken again and again. Many farmers adopt certain device to shake their plants now and then. In other words, life faces challenges. The challenges work in the same way, like the wind shaking the trees to strengthen them. And then comes a state, you are not a shaky tree, you are like a mountain. Khada Himalaya bata raha, you are a big mountain, Himalayas. All these storms, etc., mean nothing to the mountain. While sitting, standing, waking, sleeping, or dreaming, my spirit ever resides in the Supreme Self. Everything goes on normal. But the difference, enlightenment, you are at your heart level completely untouched. In this transient world, I am ever calm and undistracted. My mind is ever turned inwards because I am devoid of desires for the perishable objects of the world. Again, saintly life in appearance will be same as anybody's life. Every saint comes with prarabdha. How long you live depends upon prarabdha karma. Only difference is a saint does not create new karmas. Those who are not enlightened, one prarabdha ends, another prarabdha begins. In a saint, that is the last prarabdha. With the end of prarabdha, there is no prarabdha to come. And prarabdha, while his body and his personality follows the laws of prarabdha, his enlightened state has nothing to do with it. Now when he is following the law of prarabdha, it will appear normal, just like everybody faces prarabdha. Prarabdha is three types. Aniccha prarabdha, Ichcha prarabdha. No, it's like Ichcha prarabdha, Aniccha prarabdha, Parechcha prarabdha. Ichcha prarabdha is according to, it's congenial. You like it, others like it, it's wonderful. Aniccha is something you don't like, and you have to face it. Parechcha is neither you like or dislike, but you are led by people around you to do certain things that you didn't plan. So prarabdha continues to operate in everyone these three ways. Same way it will be there in sages. So some sages will go through certain turmoil in a special way. Some will be led to be popular by their disciples, and so forth, different ways. But the enlightened sage is always one and the same. At the deep level, one with God. Brahman, absolute. And with this we will conclude. Om Ram 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 Ram. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Prayer for the shower of divine grace over all of you. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Vabandhanat Mrityor Mukhyama Mritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Yes, yes. If anybody has questions, that's okay. Okay.
Ram Gurudev. Gurudev, Sage Kaka Vishwadi said that by meditating on spontaneous prana, he achieved the state of liberation. So, is that just observing the 8 stages of the breathing, or is that inquiring into the source of prana?
Try to understand. When you are, as a doctor, somebody has indigestion, digestive problem, you give lot of instructions. Also the symptoms of good digestion. And if they don't have, you give special medicines to cut down those abrupt symptoms. But when the health comes, it is spontaneous. Hunger comes, thirst comes, all come a spontaneous way, and it's healthy. If you understand that, the same thing follows in spirituality. Pranayama goes on helping your prana to calm down, but if you are advanced, you are so calmed down that prana itself is waiting for your command. It becomes natural, spontaneous. It's a matter of practice.
One more question, Gurudev. Gurudev, you mentioned that tejas includes pranas and manas and intellect.
Yes.
All 3 are combined. So
It is a subtle body. Subtle body includes pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha. So this subtle body in cosmic state has the same 3 planes.